Love is not built on how much you give, but on what you refuse to compromise. There is one boundary, just one, that doesn't push men away, but instead pulls them closer, deeper, forever. Without it, love fades. With it, love lasts. When people think of love, they often imagine romance, passion, and endless giving. They imagine holding nothing back, pouring out every ounce of their time, energy, and heart to prove their devotion. But here's the truth. Love without limits, without boundaries, is not love at all. It is chaos. A relationship with no boundaries quickly becomes unbalanced, where one person gives and gives until they are empty, while the other takes and takes until they no longer respect what's being offered. What was once exciting becomes exhausting. What once felt beautiful turns into a burden. And the sad reality is, most people don't even realize this is happening until they are already drowning in the weight of their own sacrifice. Boundaries are not walls, they are balance. Think about it. Every strong building needs a foundation. Every powerful river needs banks to guide its flow. And every flame needs a container so it doesn't burn everything down. Love is no different. Without boundaries, it spills over recklessly, consuming the very people it was meant to nurture. A relationship without boundaries feels like a fire out of control. At first it's warm and exciting, but eventually it burns everything in its path. People confuse unconditional love with limitless tolerance, but the two are not the same. True love cannot thrive in a space where there is no structure, no respect, and no recognition of limits. When one partner believes that love means never saying no, they lose themselves piece by piece. They think their sacrifice is proof of devotion, but over time, resentment builds in the shadows. They begin to feel unappreciated, invisible, and drained. And here is the irony. When you give endlessly without boundaries, the person receiving doesn't love you more. They love you less. Why? Because human nature doesn't value what comes without limits. We respect what costs us something. We treasure what feels rare. Boundaries are what make love valuable. They tell your partner, my love is deep, but it is not free for abuse. My heart is big, but it is not a doormat. Without boundaries, love becomes one-sided, and one-sided love is never sustainable. Imagine pouring water into a cup with no bottom. It doesn't matter how much you give, it will never be enough. That is exactly what happens in relationships without limits. You pour yourself out and nothing fills back up. Eventually, you are left depleted, bitter, and broken, and yet the one who took without giving does not feel guilty, they feel entitled. That's what chaos does. It twists love into something unrecognizable. It transforms passion into pain, and it convinces people that suffering is proof of commitment. But real love was never meant to be suffering. Real love was meant to be shared, not stolen. Boundaries protect love from turning toxic. They are the guardrails that keep relationships on track. Just as a road without lines leads to crashes, a love without limits leads to collisions of unmet expectations, disrespect, and emotional exhaustion. Boundaries say, I love you enough to give you the best of me, but I also love myself enough to not lose me. And when both people honor that truth, something powerful happens. Love grows deeper, stronger, and healthier. Each person feels safe, valued, and respected. They know exactly where they stand, and instead of drowning in chaos, they rise together in harmony. Here's the paradox. Boundaries don't weaken love, they strengthen it. They don't push people away, they pull the right ones closer. The people who truly love you will never be offended by your boundaries. They will be grateful for them. Why? Because your boundaries show you are a person of worth. A person who respects themselves, and therefore a person who can truly be respected in return. Without them, relationships crumble under the weight of imbalance. With them, love becomes steady, secure, and everlasting. Because love without boundaries is chaos, but love with boundaries is freedom. There is something you must understand. Attraction may pull two people together, but it is self-respect that keeps them together. Looks fade, charm wears off, and chemistry can be temporary, but when a person respects themselves, it creates a gravitational pull that is impossible to ignore. Self-respect is magnetic. It is the quiet confidence that says, I don't need you to complete me, I am already whole. And when someone carries themselves with that energy, they naturally inspire deeper respect and admiration from others. Why is self-respect so magnetic? Because it sets the tone for how others treat you. Life has a way of reflecting back to us what we believe we deserve. If you walk into a relationship believing you're not good enough, you will tolerate neglect. If you believe your love has no conditions, you will accept disrespect. But when you stand firm in your value, when you carry yourself as someone who knows they are worthy of love and dignity, people rise to meet you at that level. Respecting yourself is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is declaring to the world, I know my worth and I will not settle for less. Think about it this way. If you don't respect yourself, why should anyone else? People learn how to treat you by watching how you treat yourself. If you constantly diminish your own needs, silence your own voice, and compromise your peace just to keep someone else happy, you send the message that your heart is cheap. And people do not treasure what feels cheap. But when you draw a line and say, I love you, but I love me too, it changes everything. Suddenly, your love has weight. Your affection has meaning. You become a prize, not an option. Self-respect also creates stability in love. Without it, relationships are fragile, filled with insecurity and fear of abandonment. But when you respect yourself, you don't cling. You connect. You don't beg, you inspire. You don't chase. You attract. And this is the paradox. When you stop trying to prove your worth to someone, they begin to see it more clearly. They lean in closer, not because you demand it, but because your presence commands it. Love built on respect is never forced, because respect turns love from a fleeting emotion into a solid foundation. And here's the truth. Self-respect requires courage. It means walking away from what doesn't honor you, even when it hurts. It means saying no, when everything in you wants to say yes, just to please someone. It means risking loneliness rather than accepting disrespect. That courage is what makes you magnetic, because strength attracts strength. A man doesn't fall in love forever with someone who gives away everything just to keep him. He falls in love with someone who has the courage to keep herself. That's the kind of love that inspires devotion, loyalty, and commitment. So let it be clear, self-respect is not selfishness. It is the seed of true love. Without it, love becomes manipulation, sacrifice without balance, and endless compromise. With it, love becomes steady, safe, and unshakable. A person who respects themselves radiates a power that cannot be faked. That power doesn't just attract attention, it attracts commitment. And when love is built on commitment, it doesn't fade with time. It grows deeper, stronger, and everlasting, because self-respect is the magnet that turns temporary attraction into forever love. There's a common lie people believe. that saying yes to everything will make someone love you more. That if you bend, compromise, and give without question, you will win their heart forever. But the truth is the opposite. The more you erase your boundaries, the less desirable you become. Why? Because boundaries don't kill attraction, they create it. Desire is born in the space between two people, in the mystery, in the respect, in the recognition that this love is precious and cannot be taken for granted. Think about anything valuable in life. Gold is valuable because it's rare. Diamonds are treasured because not everyone can have them. Even time is respected because no one can stop it or control it. The same principle applies to love. When you set boundaries, you show that your heart is not something anyone can casually access. You create a sense of rarity, and rarity breeds desire. A man may be intrigued by someone who gives him everything immediately, but he commits to the one who makes him earn her respect, her trust, and her love. Boundaries are not rejection, they are protection. They protect your worth, and in doing so, they ignite his desire to step up and meet your standard. Without boundaries, relationships fall into routine. The excitement fades because there's nothing left to chase, nothing left to strive for. When you constantly say yes, you remove the thrill of pursuit. But when you have standards, when you know what you will and will not accept, you keep love alive. Boundaries challenge a man to bring his best self to the table. They say, if you want to stand by me, you must rise to the level of my worth. That challenge doesn't push love away. It pulls it in stronger. Because deep down, every man wants to feel like he earned the love he's receiving. And here's what's powerful. Boundaries don't just protect you, they elevate him. When you hold to your standards, you inspire growth. You show him that love is not about taking the easy route. It's about becoming the kind of person who deserves what you're offering. Boundaries create desire because they create value, and value demands effort. The more effort someone invests in you, the deeper their attachment grows. That's why people fall in love with what they've had to work for, not with what was handed to them freely. But let's be clear, boundaries are not games. They are not manipulation or power plays. They are truth. They are clarity. They are the sacred line that says, I am worth respect, and if you cannot give it, then you cannot have me. This isn't about creating artificial distance. It's about honoring yourself. And when a man sees that you value yourself enough to draw those lines, it stirs something inside him. It makes him lean in closer, fight harder, and love deeper. Because boundaries create the space where desire grows instead of dies. So remember this. Love is not sustained by endless compromise, but by mutual respect. Boundaries keep love alive by reminding both people that what they share is not ordinary. It is extraordinary, and extraordinary things are never taken lightly. Boundaries create desire because they remind him that your love is not just given. It is chosen, protected, and earned. And a love that is earned is a love that lasts forever. We live in a world addicted to attention. Social media thrives on likes, followers, and fleeting validation. People chase applause as if it can fill the emptiness inside. But here's the truth. Attention is cheap. Respect is priceless. Anyone can get attention. It takes a moment, a picture, a gesture, but not everyone earns respect. And if you want love that lasts, you must choose respect over attention every single time. Because attention excites, but respect endures. Attention is loud, but respect is quiet. Attention is about being noticed, but respect is about being valued. A man may notice someone who chases attention, but he commits to the one who commands respect. Why? Because respect carries weight. It says, I am more than what you see. I am more than a moment. I am substance. I am depth. I am worth. When someone respects you, they don't just look at you. They look up to you. They see not only your beauty, but your character, your standards, and your strength. And that is what inspires devotion. Think about it. Attention is temporary. Today you have it, tomorrow it shifts to someone else. It is fickle, fragile, and fleeting, but respect is permanent. Respect builds trust. Respect creates loyalty. Respect forms the foundation of love that can weather storms. A relationship built on attention alone will always need more noise, more performance, more proving. But a relationship built on respect needs less. It simply grows deeper with time. Respect doesn't demand constant proof. It thrives on consistency, integrity, and truth. The problem is, too many people trade respect for attention. They lower their standards, they compromise their values, they give away their dignity, all to be noticed. And yes, they may gain attention for a while, but they lose the very thing that makes love last. Because here's the reality: attention might attract a man's eyes, but only respect captures his heart. Attention might bring him near, but only respect keeps him there. Attention makes him curious, but respect makes him committed. Respect also has power because it is mutual. When you respect yourself, you invite others to respect you. When you respect your partner, you inspire them to rise to their best self. Respect over attention means choosing substance over show, depth over surface, forever over temporary. It means saying, I don't need to be seen by everyone, I need to be valued by the right one. That shift changes everything. It takes love from shallow waters to deep oceans, where it can survive the storms of life. So let it be clear, if you want a love that lasts forever, stop chasing attention and start demanding respect. Don't settle for someone who notices you in the crowd. Choose someone who treasures you in silence. Don't live for applause, live for honor. Because attention fades when the lights go out, but respect keeps burning long after the show is over. And in the end, love built on respect will always outlast love built on attention. Always, love at its core is not just about feelings, it is about standards. Too often, people believe love should be unconditional in the sense that anything goes. They think lowering their standards will keep someone close, that if they accept whatever behavior comes their way, it will somehow prove their devotion, but the opposite is true. Real love thrives when standards are present. Standards are not barriers that block love. They are the gates that protect it. They separate what is toxic from what is healthy, what is temporary from what is lasting. Without standards, love is reckless. With them, love is safe, steady, and sacred. Think about it. Every meaningful part of life requires standards. A career requires standards of excellence. Health requires standards of discipline. Even friendships require standards of trust and loyalty. Why would love be any different? If you do not demand respect, honesty, and commitment, you invite neglect, betrayal, and chaos. Standards are the boundaries of the heart. They tell someone, I welcome you into my life, but not at the expense of my dignity. Without those standards, you leave the door open for anyone to enter, and not everyone who enters your life comes with good intentions. And here's the paradox: people admire what they cannot easily access. They may desire what is cheap, but they commit to what is valuable. Standards increase your value, not because you are playing hard to get, but because you are showing you are worth the effort. A man who truly loves you does not resent your standards. He rises to meet them. In fact, your standards inspire him to grow, to elevate, to become the kind of man who deserves your heart. Standards don't scare away the right one. They filter out the wrong ones. They protect you from settling for less than you deserve, and they draw to you the kind of love that can last forever. Without standards, love becomes exploitation. One person gives everything while the other gives nothing. One bends until they break, while the other takes until there's nothing left. That's not love, that's survival. Love demands standards because without them, relationships collapse under the weight of imbalance. Standards ensure fairness, respect, and equality. They are the invisible contracts that say, I will honor you, but I expect to be honored in return. They keep love from being one-sided, and they remind both people that devotion must be mutual. Now, standards are not about perfection. They are not a list of impossible demands. They are about values. They are about saying, this is who I am, this is what I need, and this is what I refuse to compromise. Standards give love direction. Without them, relationships wander aimlessly, hoping passion alone will be enough. But passion without standards burns out. Standards give love purpose, and purpose is what makes love last. So hear me clearly. Love that lasts forever is built on standards that never waver. The right person will not only accept your standards, they will respect them. They will see that your refusal to settle is not arrogance, but wisdom. They will understand that your standards are not obstacles, but invitations to rise higher, to love deeper, to commit fully. Love demands standards because standards ensure that what you share is not ordinary, but extraordinary. And extraordinary love is the only kind that lasts a lifetime. For too long, people have confused sacrifice with love. They believe that the more they give up, the more they endure, the more they lose themselves, the stronger their love must be. But here's the truth. Forever love does not come from endless sacrifice. It comes from respect. Sacrifice without respect is slavery. It drains your soul, it empties your heart, and it leaves you broken. Respect, on the other hand, fills you up. It creates safety, trust, and devotion. The kind of love that lasts a lifetime is not measured by how much you suffer, but by how deeply you are respected. When you build love on sacrifice alone, you set yourself up for resentment. You give and give until you feel invisible, until you feel unappreciated, until you feel used. You tell yourself this is what love requires, but deep down your spirit grows tired. And the cruel twist is this: the one receiving your sacrifice doesn't love you more. They love you less, because people rarely value what they don't have to respect. What begins as proof of love eventually becomes an expectation, and soon the sacrifice that once felt noble feels like a prison. That is not forever love, that is bondage. Respect changes everything. Respect means your voice matters. Respect means your needs are honored. Respect means your boundaries are seen and not crossed. When a man respects you, he doesn't take your sacrifice for granted. He treasures it. He doesn't see your love as something he can exploit. He sees it as something he must protect. Respect turns sacrifice from something heavy into something holy. It transforms giving from an obligation into a joy, because both partners are giving, both are receiving, and both are valued. That balance is what makes love sustainable. Respect also creates trust, and trust is the soil where love grows forever. Without respect, you cannot trust. You're always questioning, always wondering if your sacrifice is being taken advantage of. But when there is respect, trust comes naturally. You know your love is safe. You know your partner sees you, values you, and would never allow you to lose yourself just to keep them. That kind of trust doesn't just survive the storms of life. It thrives in them. It creates a bond so strong that time cannot weaken it. And here's what makes respect the foundation of forever love. It never asks you to disappear. It never demands that you kill your identity to keep someone else happy. Instead, it celebrates who you are. It invites you to grow, to shine, to live fully, while walking side by side with someone who honors that growth. Respect says, I love you not because you give me everything, but because you value yourself enough to not give me more than you should. That balance is what turns ordinary love into extraordinary love. So understand this clearly. Forever love is not built on sacrifice that empties you, but on respect that sustains you. If you are giving until there is nothing left, that is not love. It is loss. But if you are respected, cherished, and valued, then your love will not only last. It will deepen with every passing year. Respect is the soil, respect is the seed, respect is the water. Without it, love dies. With it, love lives forever. So let me leave you with this. Love is not about losing yourself. It's about finding someone who celebrates all of you. It's not about how much you sacrifice, but about how deeply you are respected. It's not about giving everything until you're empty, but about standing in your worth so your love can overflow. The one boundary that makes men fall in love forever is not mystery, not beauty, not charm. It is self-respect. Because when you respect yourself, you teach others how to love you. When you honor your standards, you attract the kind of love that honors you back. And when you protect your worth, you awaken in a man not just desire, but devotion. So never apologize for your boundaries. Never shrink to be loved. Never trade respect for attention or standards for company, because the love that lasts forever is the love that sees you, values you, and rises to meet you where you stand. And when you carry yourself with that truth, when you walk with dignity, speak with clarity, and love yourself first, you won't have to chase love. Love will chase you, respect will hold you, and forever will find you.